You're welcome. Yes, so it's a never ending story with the pain in the body, and it's gonna maybe get worse, right? So, hmm, we have to pay attention to something, to our attitude. Like, how much do we want things to change and to be alright? Alright, and when we see that, then let's not judge ourselves about that. Let's just see it for what it is, which is craving to be healthy, craving to not be getting old, and see uh, when this craving is no longer there, uh, what's left. Hmm. Because we want maybe also to somehow become or be a good meditator, become or be someone who has not such mental state. And we forget that instead of watching them, observing them coming and going over and over again, maybe 1,000 times, um, we want them not to be there at all, which is aversion, rejection. So there is subtlety there, right? If we really say, oh, okay, aversion again against pain, and then it goes away, then maybe 1 second later, aversion again. All right, I would like things to be changed, to be different. Then it goes away after being noticed, and then it will come back. So the only thing to do is actually to notice that over and over again, maybe 1,000 times. And maybe at some point when we have enough of it, say, okay, pain is there, pain is there. I cannot do what I want. All right, I have no control over that pain somehow. I have no control about on this body degrading over time. So yeah, so the body is not the problem. It is the clinging, the grasping on the idea of an healthy body. And if it's there, craving is there, holding, grasping on that idea, just notice it without judgment about yourself. Not no should, no, oh, I shouldn't think about that. Just notice. Yeah, it's there. Identification with the body is there. Craving with the body. Craving to beautiful body is there. Wanting, desiring, wishing to do the practice in such a way. To be performant, to be good enough, and not to be old crappy things who cannot, who is disabled. So yeah, and also looking at the impatience, wanting to have results right away, wanting to have a clear mind right here, right now, when I decided. But you do not decide it. It depends on the on conditions, causes and effects. This wish, desire to have an empty mind, a calm mind, can actually prevent you from it, from getting it. Nobody's getting a clear mind. And of course it will depend on how much you carry on, let's say, this practice, this observation, some call this mindfulness, through the day. So if you just stand up from the cushion and forget about being mindful, being into your body, putting the mind on the breath, for example, and you stay 9 hours like this, 10 hours, then come back to 20 minutes of practice over time, yes, you will see some changes, but I strongly advise to keep the practice as much as you can when you walk. The time you spend walking in the day, it's a lot. In your house, you do the housework, you walk, sweep the floor, you go from one room to the other room. When you work at work, you walk, right? When you go to the grocery store, you go from your house to the car, drive, then you get out of the car, then you go to the store. When buying things, you walk. Stay mindful when you walk. The thoughts are not the problems, they will come again and again. So you stay mindful in your body. You can choose either staying on the breath or being mindful of every of your step. So try to carry the practice through the day as much as you can. All right. This will help. And be very careful of your how you spend your time. Besides the practice, what do you do? Or just also look at those activities and how much mindfulness is there in that. I'm talking about, for example, we can nowadays spend many times in reading on social media, for example. It's so easy to lose mindfulness while doing that. When you read, be mindful. When you write an email, be mindful. When you write a comment on Facebook, be mindful. Write only what is necessary. Ask yourself, what's your intention behind writing? When you drink, you drink, right? When you can train, when you open the door of the fridge, you can slow down as much as possible. You open. We did this practice, but I think you weren't there that day, but maybe you did the practice afterwards. It was about mindfulness of breathing, when we actually stay on the breath from beginning, middle, end. trying really to stay constant on the object of meditation, right? So in daily life you can practice the same, but then the objects change all the time, but you stay, or the object is the body. So when you open the door of the fridge, you stay from the beginning, middle and end. Alright. Then you close. When you cook vegetables. So when elbow is painful or injured, well, then everything you do, for example, I had sometimes frozen shoulders, so I couldn't train either. Alright, so I had my arm having to hold it like this. So pain is there and you have to get dressed somehow. So be mindful when you're dressed. When you're dressing yourself, that's practice. Alright. Pain is there, recognize that. Recognize the mental states who want to get rid of the pain, who want to be able to move that arm again. Cannot do anything, I just have my left arm, I am right-handed. Alright then, open the fridge with the left hand. Alright. Practice change. Experience change. Dhamma. Phenomena. Always changing, never the same. Mental state. Again. Aversion. Right. Close the door. More difficult than the right. Okay. Then. Cannot wear my favorite clothes. Yeah, it feels like this. Mind doesn't like it because of Vedana, feeling tone, not being at ease. Then what? Not being able to carry the list of things that I want to do. Alright, aversion again. Hatred again, the situation, just look at it. Okay. Hatred is there. Wanting to have something different than what is. Feels like this. Does it feel good? No. Alright, it doesn't feel good. Not feeling good feels like this. And that's very simple. So at the beginning it can be tiring and we start to realize how much resistance we have. So do not have resistance against resistance. Yeah, do not have resistance against resistance. It's a never-ending story. Resistance is there. You can make a note of it. Resistance, 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 still there. Okay. Resistance, resistance. We want to shape our lives a certain way. And if our situation, imagine if I have, I'm Egyptian, yeah, okay, I have my two arms, I cannot use them. Then I start to depend on other people, alright, feeding myself, putting clothes on myself. It's kind of drastic situation, right? I don't want it. Can I change it? Not really. So practice is, feeling bad. Mental state according to that arise. Wanting to change. Wanting to have different. Start complaining. And then you can start how the mind tries to blame for someone. And if we cannot find anyone, maybe we blame ourselves. Right? Alright, blaming myself. blaming the society, blaming my mom, blaming my husband, blaming me again. You just notice all of that without judgment. So the practice is kind of, it's that, and that's all, actually. And I wanted to say, maybe to add something, just for you in particular, customized, is that we have to pay very much attention to the idea of not giving up, because we can be actually, we have to learn when to give up and when to not give up. It's not only I have to hold, because then it can be counterproductive, it can be very ego-based. Maybe we hold on to something that must be let go of because it's the reason of suffering. So we never give up. Well, maybe we have to pay attention to that. We have to apply wisdom, I would say, on the situation. We don't give up on what? Holding that we have to be strong, that we have to carry on with our life, that we have to keep taking some responsibilities and be able to perform all the time, not giving up happiness. So yeah, we have to really pay attention to that. Maybe this is really this kind, sometimes this, when we are, this is sometimes what we have to let go of. Okay, I do not have what I want. This body cannot keep working as I was when I was 20. Alright, then that's giving up. That's giving up the idea that what the conditions, reality, is different than what we want and how we want to shape our life. It's the giving up of the control. So sometimes in certain situations we have to yield. We have to give up. So one has to be aware, mindful, but also apply some wisdom. Otherwise, it becomes the same thing all over again, and we are in a vicious circle of trying to hold on, trying to go forward with our lives, trying to show how resistant we are. So in life there is no giving up on mindfulness, awareness, and there is some giving up. Also, I was at the temple this week, a few days ago actually, and you learn that. You learn to receive and you learn how to give. Always the two aspects, the yin and the yang. So it's also a matter of timing. When do you receive? When do you give? When do you stand up? When do you yield? Right? And patience. Patience. Nothing expects anything from you, actually. So maybe you can look at the idea of yourself, how much pressure comes from yourself alone. Because the mind has a tendency to get results, achievements, performance. I should be good enough, otherwise I will be rejected. I won't be liked. Well, I can tell you, you can be very liked even very disabled, even very blind. You can be very liked even being very poor. You can be loved being on a wheelchair and having nothing to show nor to offer. Yes. So that's the reply to that question. Thank you. I'm still open to question. If you want to go, you can go. If you want to stay, you can stay. You're welcome. Have a nice day. Thank you.